Hi guys, my name is Kevin. I'm a director and cinematographer based in Vancouver, Canada. If you've been following my channel, you know I just released my last short film. In that short film, I worked with a big crew. I think I had around 9 or 10 bodies helping to make that thing become a reality. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I learned from that experience. Straight out of the gate, the main thing I came out with was communication is key. You need to communicate, especially when you're the writer director, mainly because a lot of ideas are in your mind. A lot of these ideas you came up with, you made these things, and you know what you want and you know what it's going to take to achieve that. But you have to be able to communicate and make sure that people understand, but also be open to collaboration. So everything is a collaboration. You're collaborating with other people. You're giving them space to express themselves in your work. I used to believe, especially when you're doing things like YouTube, it's all about you. I determine everything that comes out. But when you're doing something like that, you have a whole team of people who are there. We all have our selfish reasons why we are there, but the key thing is to get your vision out. So I would say communication is key. And the next thing that you need in order to be able to effectively communicate is know your vision. Understand what your vision is. I used to believe in freestyling things, like you don't have to think about it, just do it, just sit down, just start. There's a time and place for that. But I think if you want to have a special, great experience and to create something that's important, understand your vision, create a plan, and then execute. One of the things that I did, which I regret, is I didn't create a look for my film. I didn't have a look. Like I knew my references, the things that I was trying to go for, but in my mind, I couldn't picture it. I couldn't see what it looked like. I had an understanding. I wanted something dark and eerie, but I could never come up with the colors. I didn't come up with a lot for the film. So we shot it. And then my idea was, I'll shoot it Rec 709, which gives me a base, and then in post, I'll think about what I want it to look like. One of the challenges that I had, if you watch it, is because we had a lot of newspapers around, and because I didn't use a lot on the day of shooting, there were a lot of challenges with color grading the whole thing. So it's like, had I thought about the look, had I thought about what my vision was, had I thought about what I was trying to do, I could have come up with a better solution. One of the challenges that I had and the blockade that I had in my mind was a lot of things went, like I got sick a few weeks before shoot day, so I couldn't really make use of my prep. But, one thing that I take out of that is know the vision, know what you're trying to do. There's no, when it comes to film, I feel like happy accidents happen, but don't rely on them. Don't rely on, I'll gut it out. I'll make up something, because for me, that was the detriment of my film. But it's not to say my film is bad. I'm just nitpicking at things that I feel like went wrong. The third thing is always trust your gut. When we were filming it, I had a professional sound recordist on the day who knew how to play with sound, who understood these things. And one of the challenges that we had was there was a fridge in the house. So turning off a fridge would have created problems. But then my gut was like, we need to do something about this because there's dialogue, maybe we can turn it off when they're having dialogue and turn it on. And I asked the sound guys like, oh, hey, does this bother you? And they're like, no, it doesn't bother us. It works. We are recording the dialogue above the fridge. But the challenge that happened was the fridge turns off at certain points. So you don't have a consistency in terms of sound. And for me, it also just irritated me. Like I didn't enjoy having a loud fridge throughout my dialogue, like in terms of editing, it made it difficult because in shots where it's a reverse shot, right? So your coverage, you're doing coverage, right? And then you have in one section, the guy has loud fridge, on the other section, the person is talking to is a quiet, So that for me was a big challenge. And it's something that in my gut told me was like, hey, you want to figure it out. And then the thing that then happened was in post, the sound guy got busy and he couldn't work on the project. So you're like, oh man, I gotta fix this. That's why when you listen to it, I ended up using a lot of music to convey those things that I was trying to convey through the dialogue, but then it wasn't really set up to be like that, you know? The fourth thing that I took out of it was always understand your script. In that, I mean, when we went to post, we had support in terms of editing it. And one of the things that most of my classmates were told, most of the people around me were told, was throw out the script, now figure out what the story is based on what you shot. For me, I don't know if I agree with it. It's not that I don't know, I know. I don't agree with that idea of throw out the script, let's discover what the story is, because I feel like that can create problems, right? So when you're shooting a film, you're shooting it based off of the script, you're shooting it based off of what you have, right? And then if you go and post and you throw out the blueprint, how are we going to build this house? I think for me, that theory only works if we set it up and we realize either the communication to the actors didn't work and we're not really going for the story. We're not really getting the story that we're trying to tell, you know, and how can we fix it? That's my belief, you know. Anyone else can have their own belief, but the one thing that I took from there was understand, always have the script. The script is a blueprint. It doesn't really necessarily be like, oh, I can't take out this line because of this. If the line is not working, if it was delivered in the wrong way, hey, switch it. But the core of it, I feel like the foundation should be based off of your script. The other lesson that I learned was, you know, costumes matter. You want to really think about it, like your production design. It's not just costumes as such, but like the production design and how each and everything tells a story. One of the main things that I did, like when I was coming up with the idea, was I wanted to have newspapers all over the place. I wanted to have newspapers in the house to show that the house is old, but I didn't think about what type of newspapers or what's on the newspapers, you know. And I wanted to have specific messages on these newspapers, which would have required an investment. That's true. But the one thing that I'm saying is you want to think about this. You want to think about these things. And I think moving forward, I might even invest in clothing for my actors if they don't have it, or be very specific and let them know what we're looking for and then see what they have and if we can go to that vision. But it's very critical. And it all this goes back to the idea of know your vision and know what you're going for, you know. The next thing that I would say was critical for us when we were shooting it is feed your crew, man. You don't want hungry mouths on your set, you know. You don't want people being grumpy, but also always understand that there's time, you know. We were shooting 12-hour days, and for most of it was smooth, but because I was sick in the period of time, they had to slow down because of me, and I felt bad about that. But overall, time is important, you know. Time is important to everybody, and time, once you know your plan, time is almost everything. A challenge that I had in post when it came to coloring was because I didn't have a lot, and we didn't shoot it to a lot. We shot it to Rec 709, which was fine, you know. If we stuck to that, it created a certain look just because of the place we shot it in and how the newspapers were reflecting in the thing. But I would say one of the challenges that I had in post then was coming up with the look of the film, because now I started having ideas, but those ideas could not be baked on top of what we had. And I feel like that did a disservice to the shot in terms of, you know, I wanted to play with color contrast to showcase the different emotions of the film. And I did it, but for me, in the end, it didn't look like what I was going for. And that's just part of the life lessons, you know. We live and we learn. And I know that we make these videos and you hope that people learn, but I think what these videos help is us having these conversations, right? Of like, oh, okay, this can happen. This is what happened. This is what I learned. And you should go out there, make your own mistakes, come back, you know, let's talk about it. Let's see what can we correct. You know, moving forward, what I'll be doing is taking my time, you know. Most of the short films that I've posted here, like, I was proud of them when I did them, but when I reflect, I'm like, all right, there's a lot of mishaps, you know. I didn't prep. I used to give actors the script like before we shoot, which is all fine and dandy because you're trying to make sure that the thing gets out there. You do some work. You don't want to be like, oh, I want to be a filmmaker, and you never actually get to do the film. You know, you never get to the point of the filmmaking, you know. But at this point in my career and where I'm headed, it's more of, all right, prep means a lot. Understanding the script means a lot, and just having the idea of what do I want people to get out of my story is not just about this is the story, this is the thing, I just want to do it because it's cool, or I want to do it because of this. It's what do you want people to get out of it at the end of the day. So yeah, if you haven't checked out We Don't Run From the Devil, I'll leave the link in the description. It should pop up somewhere there. It was a beautiful time. All the actors showed up. They delivered, man. People went above and beyond for me. And as a director, I couldn't be more grateful. My DOP was amazing. My team was amazing. Everybody was pretty on it. But moving forward, that's one thing I'll say is take care of your crew, know your vision. And once you know your vision, know the language, and understand what you're going for, communicate, brother and sisters. All right. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.